Greetings and welcome to another episode of Trippy Food. Today we are going north of the border. That's right, we're going to Canada. That's right, no, that's not right, we're not going to Canada. But we are joined by FoodTaster TV. And FoodTaster TV and I are going to go through some American versus Canadian snacks, which are the same, right? So we talked about this ahead of time and we try to determine what kind of things are available in Canada that are also available in the US, and maybe maybe like pick a few items that you can get in Canada that we can also get in the United States and see how different they are, right? So the first one we picked was Kitkats. Now, if you can explain what the difference is between the American Kitkats and the Canadian Kitkats.
Yes. Oh, it's a bit of an interesting story, actually. The way it started was back in the early 20s or 30s in the UK. There was a company called Roundtree that made a bunch of different candies, including the Kitkat Bar. And then I believe in the 60s, Hershey bought the production right from Roundtree to produce Kitkat in the States. But in the 80s, Nestle ended up buying Roundtree. And they decided to honor the contract that Hershey had for the production rights of Kitkat in the States, but they took over everything else worldwide, including the Kitkat you see in my hands right here in Canada and the rest of the world, which is made by Nestle. Well, I'm sure you guys in the States also get different sizes and varieties of Kitkats. We get some very strange ones. We get this, which is called the Kitkat Chunky, which is huge.
We don't have that.
Yeah, well, you guys do get something similar in the States called Big Cat Kitkat by Hershey, which I think they do two different versions of. They do the single bar here, and they also do the two-finger bar from what I've seen online. And then you get this really strange-looking one. Look at this. This is a 10-finger or 11-finger bar. The way it's done is that the fingers are shorter, so they go this way, but they're stacked up on top of each other. It's the one really long one, which looks totally strange to me. But for the purposes of this video, we're just gonna open the simple 4-finger one that looks very much like the Hershey version that you have.
Yeah, and they have like bags of the small ones, the little ones.
Yes.
They have the large size bars and everything. So yeah, we do have a lot of different varieties of it. And then there's the aside from the unusual flavors, especially like in Japan. Japan does a lot of unusual Kit Kat flavors. But even here, every once in a while, like we've done the apple pie one.
Yes, we get all those. We get a lot of different flavors in Canada. Oh, also, the logos are drastically different, if you notice, between the Nestle one and the American Hershey one. I think Hershey kept the more original-looking logo that Roundtree had. Yeah, they're drastically different.
Oh, well, yours looks more old school, I think.
I would disagree with you on that. I think the Hershey packaging looks more old school and retro.
I'll have to go back and take a look to see. So, but Kit Kats have been around since the 1920s?
I believe so, something like that. Yeah, very early 1900s.
I didn't know they were that long. Now, so I'm assuming because there are two separate companies making these that there's going to be a little bit of a difference. So, what do you have there for ingredients on yours?
Yes, ingredients. Milk is the first thing. Milk chocolate, actually, sorry, is the first thing. And that includes sugar, modified milk ingredients, cocoa butter, unsweetened chocolate. It's a long list. Soy lecithin, something you can't pronounce, and natural flavor.
Well, ironically, the first ingredient in here is sugar. So...
Okay.
I think that's the big difference, is there's more sugar.
Right. Sugar is the third ingredient on mine, actually. Wheat flour is the second ingredient.
All right, so you want to go ahead and open these up and give them a try?
Sure.
And I'm guessing you have the standard, 4-bar.
Yes, you will see it in a second. So here is the Kitkat Bar.
Yeah. They look about the same, and they have the name Kitkat emblazoned on the top.
Oh yeah.
So let's break off a piece of that Kitkat Bar.
I believe I tried both of them side by side long time ago, many years ago, and I like both. The differences that I noticed back then when I tried them is that Hershey's had a stronger cocoa flavor and it was less creamy, while Nestle was sweeter tasting and more creamy in texture.
Yeah, that's a standard cross section, I think, right?
Yep. I will break mine. And you can see it has the layers of wafer and chocolate.
The layers don't seem to be as defined in this one. So you see how they
Yes.
kind of like...
You know why?
Together?
Nestle does layers of cocoa between the wafers as well. You guys have just one solid block of wafer in there.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like there's layers in this
That's why the Nestle one is more creamy in texture.
Mm-hmm.
But between you and me, back then I preferred the Hershey one because it had more of a cocoa flavor, like a darker cocoa flavor almost. So
let's give it a shot. Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Cheers.
You can't go wrong with Kitkat.
Well, it's not creamy. It doesn't have any creaminess to it.
Yeah, well, ours does. Ours is very creamy and too sweet.
It's too sweet?
For me, yeah. I prefer the Hershey version.
Though this is probably because you have less chocolate, right?
Yes.
But this has sugar as the main ingredient, so you would think that this one would be
That
less.
is so odd. I heard somewhere Hershey does something to their chocolates to give them more of a roasted cocoa flavor. I don't know how they process it, but that definitely is the case between the two Kitkats when I tried it years ago.
Well, I would say that this one has a nice blend between the cookie and the chocolate, and yours the chocolate is probably more prominent.
Yes, it is. It's more prominent and more creamy, definitely.
Yeah. So, it's our Kit Kat that I remember. I guess I'd give that, to be honest, I'm gonna give it a thumbs in the middle, only because, it's chocolate and a little cookie inside it, right? But it's nothing special,
Another thing that's different between the Kitkats is their slogans. You guys have give me a break or break me a piece of that Kitkat bar. Ours, I believe it says it on the packaging actually, is have a break, have a Kitkat.
They use the word break, so that's common. The word break is common.
Yeah.
All right, so now I guess we'll move on to the Smarties.
Yes.
So here's the fun part. Here's the fun part about Smarties. So you and I talked and we said, hey, you have Smarties in Canada, we have Smarties in Canada, in the US, let's do Smarties. But they're completely separate things, right? So this is what we know as Smarties, right?
Yep.
So these are
that's what we call the rockets in Canada, and I was looking for them. I couldn't find any.
Yeah, so your Smarties are probably the closest as something we would know as M&Ms, correct?
Exactly.
But now, do you have M&Ms in Canada though, right?
Oh yeah, we have all sorts of M&Ms here.
So the question is, what differentiates Smarties with M&Ms? Because you would think that there would be like some sort of infringement or something where it's almost
I actually read on this. It's so interesting. The way it started is Smarties was the original, and I didn't know this. Studies started in Europe during one of the big wars, and I can't remember which one. Or maybe another company I think was actually making it. Roundtree was making Smarties, and what happened was the person that owned the Mars Corporation back then saw these, and they decided that it's kind of a perfect candy for soldiers because of the shell. And they decided that they should again divide and conquer together. They talked and they said, you know what? You make it for America, I'll make it for the rest of the world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the way it started. But now they're both everywhere, except Smarties isn't really in America as much as M&Ms is everywhere.
Yeah, but it's what is the slogan? Melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
I don't believe Smarties has a slogan, but that's for M&Ms. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's their old one. I don't even know if they even still use that.
Let me try to. I just recorded another angle, but let me try to show it on here too. They're bigger, wider, and flatter than M&Ms are.
Well, and more vibrant colors.
and more vibrant colors, and they're crunchier. The shells are a lot crunchier. That's why sometimes I prefer them to M&Ms.
Do they have like the peanut ones and the almond ones?
No. Smarties doesn't do any varieties. That's the funny thing about them. They've stuck with this formula for God knows how many decades, and they're not letting go.
Because M&Ms is always coming up with something else, like a fudge inside.
Yeah, I've always said Smarties should. Nestle is the one that makes them, by the way. And I've always said Nestle should do at least the basic varieties: a white chocolate, dark chocolate, and maybe a peanut. Come on, but they're not budging. They're not budging.
Well, like I said, Smarties has always been Smarties, and I guess if I was to describe it, I would probably say it's probably like a cross between Sweet Tarts. If you've ever had Sweet Tarts, I don't know. It's like a cross between Sweet Tarts and maybe a little bit like Necco Wafers.
I've seen Necco Wafers, but I haven't had them. Yeah,
it's been years since I've had Smarties, so it'll be interesting. But again, what I did find that I didn't know that they made, and then maybe these are new, are extreme sour Smarties.
And you know what? You know what's funny? Like I said, we have something called the Rockets here, which is the equivalent to your Smarties, but they're not as big as those Smarties that you have. They're the size of the sour ones. They're very small.
I don't remember Smarties being this big either. I mean, honestly, because I remember it used to be like penny candy. I'm old, so it used to be penny candy, and that used to be this size. Right. So to find them this size is on a little bit on the unusual side, but you know, I figure I had to compete with a bag of your Smarties, so you know.
Right, you want to try them?
These are different colors, but I don't know if they're different flavors or not. But it does say Smarties Original on there.
Ah, okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and try one of those. Did you already pop one of those in your mouth?
Yes, I did.
Just couldn't wait. All right, this one is
orange. Try to show.
Maybe it's orange flavor. Let's see.
All right, I'm going to try to show the cross section here without it falling too much. You can kind of see the chocolate in the middle and how thick the shell is.
Yeah, and here's a Smartie.
Okay, compared to an M&M, I would say I like the center of the M&M better, the cocoa flavor better, because to me M&M is more rich in cocoa again, and
really, maybe it's different in Canada because here I've never found that. To me, the chocolate that they use for M&M seems to be like I don't want to say substandard, but it's like the kind of chocolate you get in Easter bunnies, you know, which is not really
actually what's really funny. I think somebody on YouTube did a comparison between M&Ms in Canada and the States, and they said it tastes a little bit different from what I remember.
I would probably, based on your description, I would probably agree with that. Because like I said, every time I've eaten just the plain M&Ms, it's just like a substandard chocolate. It's like a Hershey bar inside a candy shell.
That is very interesting. These, to me, the Smarties taste sweeter than M&Ms, but they're more fun to eat because of the crunchy shell. They're just so much fun to eat.
That would be fun. All right, so there's really not a lot of variety for you, but I'm gonna try one of these extreme sour Smarties. And see
I'll try another one of my own.
By the way, it was orange in color. It doesn't taste like orange.
Right.
I don't know if it's supposed to. Like the Necco Wafers. The Necco Wafers definitely has different flavors in each of the different colors that this does. So this is like you said, you probably remember these, right?
Oh yeah. The small ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the funny thing about the small size is that they seem to be like firmer is not the right word, but like more
crunchier, maybe
like a plastic, like a really smooth consistency, where these ones are a little bit drier.
Interesting.
Does that make any sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
you're surprised how when companies do different shapes and size varieties of the same thing, sometimes it changes the texture and the flavor drastically because the ratios change. And so if you don't like a candy in the original form, I would encourage you to try the different shapes and sizes because you might end up liking the other ones because of the different ratios of things.
Yeah, just like I said, just the texture between these two are completely different. Now, I will also say this. It's supposed to be extreme sour. I wouldn't go with extreme. I would just say sour because they're not really extremely sour.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've experienced that. It's sour, quote unquote sour.
Yeah. So there we are, Smarties, yours and ours, and
Yep.
I like kind of getting into the history or the differences because obviously I can't taste your Smarties, but going by your description, you generally give good descriptions anyway. So going by your description, I can kind of
so do you
compare it
actually
mentally to our M&Ms.
Thank you.
But you have M&Ms too, so
Yeah.
right. So last but not least,
I'm so excited for this
our
one.
Ruffles all dressed. Now these came out a couple of years ago,
Right.
And it was going to be like a limited time only thing, but then they, I guess they made it a permanent thing, or it just came back again and everything. So they're really popular. So the first thing I noticed is the difference in the packaging. Even the logo looks completely.
The logo is drastically different. I think yours is the original Ruffles. I may be wrong. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. The other thing is that yours has French on it.
Yes.
But it's Canada. Canada is bilingual, right?
Yeah.
We're stubborn and we cling to our English as our national language. But so ironically, you got that little maple leaf there saying, "Oh, this is the Canadian thing." And in Canada, you don't even have a maple leaf saying this is.
No, not as far as I can see, anyways.
Yeah. So I'm looking at yours and I'm looking at mine, and I'm looking at that bottle of what I think is vinegar. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
And it looks like white vinegar, whereas I'm supposing this is vinegar, maybe.
I think that may be ketchup from what I'm seeing on yours. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's the vinegar here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm trying to see what else is the same. Is that like a pepper or tomato?
That I believe is a pepper, and onions and salt and.
Because here it's showing like a paprika.
Yes.
Which I think is is the main flavor, and then we have like what, onion up here, and you have onion there.
Yeah.
So briefly, because Ruffles is not the only one that makes all dressed chips. All dressed chips are a big thing in Canada, correct?
Every single brand except for Lay's. I don't think Lay's makes it, but Ruffles is owned by Frito-Lay anyway, so it's kind of like Lay's is making it. Other than that, every single brand makes it here.
But they're different than ketchup chips, right?
Yes. To me, they taste like a combination of barbecue, salt and vinegar, and a little bit of ketchup when I eat them.
Well, that's not too surprising, but you're probably getting the ketchup from the barbecue, because this looks like barbecue sauce here. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah.
And then the pepper you're going to get from the paprika, which is just basically powdered bell pepper. And then that looks like just like white wine vinegar, maybe.
Right. There is actually some. I thought the packaging would have this. I'm surprised it doesn't. But if you look online and look what all dressed is, it tells you what all the flavors are. And I thought for sure it would be on the packaging here, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the ingredients on here. So potatoes is the first ingredient, which is always good because it's not necessarily in Pringles.
And this one too, potatoes is first.
Yeah, and then vegetable oil, sunflower, corn, and or canola oil.
Right.
All dressed seasoning. I don't know what all dressed seasoning is. They don't specify. They just say all dressed seasoning. And then there's like, all your fun stuff like maltodextrin and all that other crap. Sugar, which is a little bit surprising. Like, why would you need sugar in something that's savory, right?
Yeah.
But sugar. Does yours have sugar in it?
Yes, it does actually.
Which is
The way
kind of
mine
surprising.
goes is specially selected potatoes,
Well, maybe if they're
vegetable oil.
trying for that barbecue sauce flavor, maybe that's what
Yes,
it's
probably, yeah. And
sodium-
actually, mine tells what the seasoning is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the way they have it is specially selected potatoes, vegetable oil, and then seasoning in parentheses. It says corn, maltodextrin, salt, sugar, sodium acetate, monosodium glutamate, spices, natural flavor, malic acid, paprika extracts, dehydrated garlic, dehydrated onion, disodium inosinates or something like that, and diosodium something that I can't pronounce.
These are similar. I don't think it's any major difference. I don't know why they do paprika extract. Why don't you just use paprika as a powder? Just use paprika, right? But they do paprika extract.
I don't know.
That's just kind of weird.
That
So
is
it
very
seems like it has a lot of the same ingredients. You want to open these up?
Yes. Before I do that, there's three little funny things on the back of my package in here. It says, Canada's very own. You'll enjoy this bag of Ruffles all-dress chips if you enjoy unique Canadian food. It was invented here after all. You're seeking something sweet and salty and savory all in one bag. And you love eating chips that will make you make your taste buds feel like they are going to explode.
Which is funny because when I go to get chips, my mind does not go to sweet. I'm never looking for sweet when I want to enjoy some chips. Oh, I should do that. You know, the famous open from the bottom.
Oh yeah.
That's just me. I don't expect everybody else to do that. They had a nice smell. I mean, you get the like vinegar. That's like one of the first things you smell is the vinegar.
Ours are the Ruffles aren't too deep. The ridges.
Yeah.
I don't know about yours.
No, it's not. They're not thick like the kettle cooked ones that are ridged. Sometimes they're really thick. Yeah, these are not thick at all.
Yeah, and I actually saw another YouTuber try both, and they were American. They tried both side by side, and I think they had also had the Canadian one beforehand too. And they said that I think this was a couple of years ago when it first came out in the States. They said that yours didn't taste as good as the Canadian one.
I'm not surprised. You know, so here is the problem with a lot of places around the U.S. is that even within the U.S. when you have a regional food that they do somewhere else, they change it up, right? So like if you're in California and you get some like Texas food, it's changed so that people from LA will enjoy it without necessarily tasting like something from Texas. If you're in New York and you're eating something that's supposed to be from Chicago, it tastes different than it would in Chicago and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me at all that it would have a different taste than it would in Canada. These look maybe a little bit redder than yours. Is that?
Maybe. Yeah, who can tell?
All right, so you ready to try one?
I am so excited. I'm hungry. I gotta tell you, of all the chips in Canada, this flavor is my favorite.
Really? You mean this particular brand?
Yes. Of all the ones I've tried, Ruffles is the best.
So the thing is, to me, now, I don't know if you're getting the same thing. To me, it seems like there's more focus on sweet and less focus on salty. It seems like these need salt.
I'm getting a very strong smoky flavor, and then right into barbecue, and then salt and vinegar. Saltiness for me is actually right up there. Like, it's quite salty for me.
I get the sweetness. The vinegar, you get the smell as soon as you open the bag, but the flavor, it's not as as strong as you would think it is, but they're not salt and vinegar chips. But still, you would think they would have like a stronger vinegar taste to it.
Right. And don't tell any Canadians this. I think I prefer this to ketchup chips. Well, they shouldn't be offended anyways because this is Canadian
but I can
too.
only base that on what I've had. The only time I've had real Canadian chips, we have an episode that we did a couple years ago, if you would look it up, and a friend of mine who I worked with was from Canada, and he went back and he smuggled me a couple of bags of Canadian chips. I think one of them was a ketchup chip. To me, every time I've had something in Canada, it's always been superior. So you can help me out with this because you understand what this flavor is supposed to be, right?
Yep.
To me, I want it to be more tangy, like to almost have a little bit more of acid from the vinegar. I'm expecting that, and I'm not really getting that. It seems to be like sweeter than it
more
is.
More barbecue centric. Yes.
Yeah,
it is.
And it seems like it needs salt. It seems like it should be a little bit saltier. Now you say you're not getting the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So my guess is they are made different.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting the smoky flavor of barbecue with the sweetness, and then right after that goes to tangy from the salt and vinegar.
Would you say that as far as traditional, authentic Canadian all-dressed chips, that they do have that tanginess, that they do have that saltiness more so than what we're getting?
Oh yeah. In fact, that other YouTuber that I mentioned earlier said the same thing about the American version, that it just overall didn't have as much flavor as the Canadian one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give this a thumbs down, only because it doesn't meet my expectations as to what I think it's supposed to be, and you confirm that. You confirm that it's that it should be what I think it's supposed to taste like, because you say that's how it is in Canada, and these don't deliver, right? I'm looking at the pictures of all this stuff on the outside, and none of it doesn't match, right? So I'm expecting it to be tangier. I'm expecting it to be saltier and everything, and it's really not. And so that's why I'm going to give it a thumbs.
I'm giving mine 2 thumbs up.
Of course,
even before I knew what was officially in the flavors, because I looked it up months ago. I could taste the salt and vinegar, and I could definitely taste the barbecue, like so strongly there.
Yeah, not so much here. So that's why these are going to get a thumbs down. And I didn't rate the Smarties. I'm going to give those a thumbs in the middle because it's a candy, right? And they're not terrible. They're not awesome.
My Smarties, I'm going to give them 2 thumbs up. I like chocolate.
Yeah, and I won't compare. I'm not basing my rating on comparing my Smarties to your Smarties.
Right. I think the Ruffles all dressed that you have is more close to the other all dressed flavored chips that we get here, because I did a comparison between a ton of the different brands that make this flavor here, and some of them were quite weak, and some of them actually tasted off to me, and I didn't like them.
So you would say that Ruffles in Canada does probably the best?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Does the best all-dressed chips.
Yeah. In fact, it's so well known that if you ask Canadians all-dressed chips, they might not even know the other brands make it. It's always Ruffles.
Ruffles the best.
Yes. But you know what's really funny? All those other brands, I believe they're all also owned by Frito-Lay company. One of them is Old Dutch, which is very popular in Canada. It used to be big in America, but apparently you guys don't get Old Dutch chips anymore, or at least not as much as you used to.
Old Dutch sounds like somebody would make pretzels.
No, they make a lot of different flavors of chips. They actually make the ketchup chips as well, but again, not as good as Lay's does. So
I'm gonna say overall, pretty good. Like I said, disappointed in the Ruffles. They didn't deliver the Smarties. Yeah, pretty good. They're okay. They're candy. There's nothing special out there. And the Kitkat, I would say it sounds like like maybe I'm better off because I'm getting more cookie and you're getting more chocolate, and so you get that taste of chocolate and everything. And here there's a good mix between the cookie and the chocolate. So
right.
Sounds like on the at least on the Kitkat,
right.
Sounds like maybe this one might be better.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, awesome. I thank you so much, FoodTaster TV, for joining me today and going through comparison between Canadian and American treats. I didn't realize there was that big a difference, even eating the same thing, but apparently it is. So we'll do some more. If anybody out there can think of anything that you would say like is Canadian versus American that we can try, we will do that. Well, I thank you for taking the time to do this with us today. It was a lot of fun. We will do some other stuff.
I had a blast. Thank you for inviting me.
If you think of anything else that we can do, then please let us know and everything. But we will do other things in the future. So remember that it is crazy out there. So please be careful. Please take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for checking out Trippy Food. If you enjoyed watching that video half as much as I did making it, well then I enjoyed it twice as much as you did. And if that's the case, you'll probably like this video right here. And if not, check out this video right here. That one's a little bit different. Either way, leave a comment down below. And be sure to subscribe by clicking on the Trippy Food icon right here. Glad you could make it, and we hope to see you again soon.